Hi everyone, this is Jenny, and I'm going to do a video for the Scrap Our Stash challenge. It's the sketch challenge and stash challenge, and I am going to try to do this as a quick, sort of timed challenge. That never really happens, but I'm going to be optimistic and pretend like if I just keep challenging myself to meet within a certain time limit, eventually one day I'll get it right. Or if not, I'll be, at least trying to achieve something. So, very quickly, this is the challenge. It's a beautiful sketch by Brenda, and it's got one photo and some layers underneath it, and then a couple pieces as a border. Very easy to manipulate. It's the kind of sketch I would love to, turn on its side or do other things with. I think I'm going to kind of keep it like that because the other part of the challenge is to use 3 or more patterned papers from 3 or more different collections or manufacturers, and 3 or more embellishments from different collections or manufacturers, and to include 1 piece of corkboard, chalkboard, or corrugated cardboard or corrugated board. So in doing that, I decided to keep 1 piece kind of where it is. So just to move things along, I'm going to go quickly through my things I picked out. I love this piece of Dear Lizzie Daydreamer paper, and I'm not going to cut it up. I thought about cutting pieces of it, but I just can't. It's just too pretty. And that's very lovely, but this is just gorgeous. So I thought about having this as the main background and then mounting it on a piece of this, or having this as a little piece. This is a piece of Heidi Swapp from the, let's see, I can't remember, not the, hold on, the Mixed Company kit, okay, and I think I've used that in pieces before, but not enough to really see the whole pattern, so and they work perfectly together, so that's the plan for those two. And I'm going to, instead of using the strip at the top and the bottom that might be patterns or something, embellishments, I thought about using this roller stamp I have from Glitz, just sort of a quick and easy thing if I'm trying to time this. And the other thing I thought about using are some of these older color shine pieces I have from Heidi Swapp that are mistable, this banner piece, because I have another smaller banner piece. And so I have the rest of the things I have are, as my daughter says, the usual suspects. I have, some gold. I've got a bunch of these little chipboard slide frames and some other vellum pieces from that same, it's the crepe paper Maggie Holmes style board, I believe. And there's a bunch of pieces of that. It's lots of little vellum hearts and flowers. This is also from the newer Heidi Swapp. It's a little heart that says sweet, and that's the mini sort of banner I thought about using as part of that. And another piece, which I just picked because I like that sort of star shape. I thought about using that. I haven't really figured out what to do with that, but I thought it might look cute if I misted it and then put my daughter's initial in it or something. And this little tag banner from Studio Calico, the YOLO. That shouldn't be in there. And some other little bits and pieces of those kind of things, and this cute little wood veneer from Pink Fresh Studio, which is super cute, and the heart would be perfect. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. The other pieces I pulled out were just a piece of paper from, I believe it's this My Mind's Eye Record It. It's the, I think that's, yes, it is. It's from the 6x6 pad, and it's just the ledger as a nice background, sort of neutral. And this is a piece of Amy Tangerine paper I had that I used as a stamp off for different things, and sometimes those turn out to be my most favorite sort of pieces of paper because they're just unplanned. And I have a huge stack to the left of my cutting mat here that I keep all the, I mean, look at this. I keep all the branding strips, all the little bitty strips of pieces I can't bear to throw away, anything I think looks cool, and I will throw those in more than an embellishment that I buy. I will throw those little scraps in to have a border of some little piece or something that ties in one of the colors. I mean, that would be great. And so I refuse to throw those away, and they're not in the scrap pile because I don't want them to get lost. They're sort of like special scraps. So this was in my special scrap pile, and I thought, I just thought that looked neat, kind of different from the hearts, but still in the same colors. So if this is, and I'm not sure if this, how this works as far as the stash goes, because, you know, Amy Tangerine and Dear Lizzie are both, and Crepe Paper are all under American Crafts, but they are technically, I suppose, different manufacturers. And then I've got Heidi Swapp. So that's kind of the thought process I'm thinking. I also have these gorgeous letters from Pink Fresh that are this beautiful sort of teal ocean blue and gold foil striped letters. I mean, they're absolutely gorgeous. So I may use those for the title, but I want to make sure I have a really big title so I can use a lot of them because they are so pretty. And I mean, this packaging is so cute. I'm going to have to keep it for something. So I may use that. And this is the photograph I'm going to use of my daughter. Just sitting on her bed the other day that took, they turned out really well, and I loved I just love the picture. I love the fact that it's a color photograph, but there's not so much color in it that's going to be distracting from the other colors I pick. And then I also have the new, it's the Daydreamer, I believe, Project Life kit. And I pulled out, I don't do Project Life, so I just pulled out some of the journaling cards and had kind of cut this one down, so I may use a couple of those. So that is my thoughts, and I'm going to probably miss some of those Heidi Swapp pieces and get started, and hopefully we will see how it goes. I may set a timer. We'll see when I come back in a minute. So I'll see you in a second. Okay, one of the things that I actually forgot to mention that's part of the challenge is to use corkboard or corrugated cardboard or chalkboard, and I did decide on using the chalkboard, and I didn't go over that in my sort of list of supplies. So this is me cutting down that piece. I decided to cut it down equally on each side, so I lost as little of the hearts as I could and had a equal perimeter around all of it, so just a little piece of it was cut off. And I'm going to go through and try to just place things really quickly. I was pretty surprised at how kind of fast this came together, which is usually a good sign of a good sketch. And also a lot of times if you do use things that are in, I mean, obviously this isn't all of the same manufacturer, so just the same color family, things are much easier and quicker to kind of put together. I love using lots of different patterns and trying to make things work, but every now and then it's kind of nice to use things that you know are going to go together, or to manipulate them to the point where it's much easier to work with. All in all, I think this video, or actually the process, was about 40 minutes, 45 minutes. My talk and in the beginning, you know, took about 8 minutes or so, so if you take that out, then it ended up being about 42 minutes. So I'm trying to figure out how this is going to work with these little banners, and before I decide to go ahead and mist it. So I kind of laid everything out. If I'm going to use gold or black or some really, really prominent color and something that draws your eye immediately, I try to place them opposite each other. So that's why I did that corner, corner piece of for the picture in gold, and then had the other chipboard piece on the other side of it. So I tried to kind of change the colors from the peach color shine to the blush, and it didn't really read as much as that. It just kind of came out sort of blushy, peachy. It did a little bit more on that smaller piece that was already curved, because I used the teal or the mint green in the blush, but you know, those aren't really meant to be blended as much, so it was pretty obvious that there was a color change there. So I just wipe them down with a little baby wipe to make sure that the resist part pops out nice and white. And I decided to frame that little piece of my stamping sort of leftovers with one of those chipboard frames from crepe paper. And this is where I pretty much go ahead and glue it down. I've seen this before, and it's on my list of things to buy the next time I'm at Office Depot or an office supply store, is to buy a long reach stapler so that I can staple things in the middle. I think it's a great way to use less adhesive and be able to pull things up if you need to without tearing paper, which I end up doing quite a bit of. So anyway, I went ahead and adhered some of that stuff in the background like I thought I would have it, and then now I break out the glue gun to use on some of the chipboard pieces. And I love that gold frame so much that I actually cut out that little bitty piece so that I wouldn't waste any of it at all. So I've got those two sort of opposed so that they balance each other out a little bit and don't bring your eye too much to one side or the other. And I try to do the same thing with some of the chalkboard labels so that it's not too dominant. I do end up adding another piece of gold and also the black. I think it really helps to have sort of bring a visual triangle and have three of something. An odd number is usually good. It makes it a little bit more dynamic. So that's the little bottom piece of the sketch that I use, is that little small curved banner. In the end, I really kind of wish I had done, I don't know, I really wasn't happy with that banner. I felt like I needed to have like a end point to it there in the middle. It just sort of ended abruptly, and I wanted to put like a brad there or a enamel dot or something, and I didn't end up doing that. So it just I don't know, I felt like it needed a little bit more, but at the same time there was so much going on with the pattern paper in the background, I didn't want to overdo it. So that's my little third piece of paper. I apparently thought that was a sticker. That's my third piece of gold, sorry, to try to make that a triangle there. And then I break out this these black, they're from American Crafts. I don't know if it's the DIY collection. I think it was actually before that, but I used this sort of ticket kind of shaped label and then another one. And it used to really bother me to have a lot of black like that, but I really kind of like it now. And the reason I picked that was because I wanted to use these alphas from Pink Fresh Studio, and I really wanted them to pop because they've got this gold foil stripe on them and they're so cute, and I didn't want them to get lost in the background. So I'm trying to decide there which piece of the sort of chalkboard I wanted to use. So I go through that a good bit, and I usually cut out the acrylic piece and everything that it's stuck on so that I can move it around and place it before I make a commitment, because I'm pretty likely to change my mind. So I think I decided to go ahead and use that one and then put the title on it. And I just used my Zig glue pen to glue those down. They come in like an orchid sort of color, the sort of purpley color in gold, and a coral color, which is my favorite, and this mint too, which, well, that's my favorite too. But I'm really loving this sort of peach and mint together right now. So I actually had a little boo-boo there, so I just covered it up with some black ink, and then I just kind of mess around and decide where to place things, or try to figure out if I should add other things. I make a little cluster there on the right that's sort of similar to the sketch with that, I called it a star earlier, it's not really a star, I guess it's a sunburst, or that sort of seal shape. So I used that seal, and instead of putting my daughter's initial, because I felt like there was a lot of text on it, I went ahead and just put a couple hearts on there. Sorry about my head. And I put a piece of that chalkboard tag underneath it to bring a little bit of that black over. I'm sorry, there's a lot on my head. So I get that glued on there, and then I really just mess around with it for the last little bit. I tried to use, I couldn't decide whether to use any more gold. I didn't really want to do that because of the I wanted to keep the 3 in the sort of triangle. I mount it onto that piece of Heidi Swap background paper. And that pretty much ends up being the whole thing. I think I kind of went through a little bit. What you don't see in the video is that I did put the date on the label sticker that's underneath that closer title. I thought about doing some stamping there, but I decided to put the date on the end. I do add journaling on the back, which I don't show, and I also actually added a couple stickers to a couple of those little banner pieces that are from Chickanity Crafts that actually kind of match with that, just to make them stand out a bit. I still didn't make anything at the end of it, so I don't feel like I had the sort of beginning of the end of each of those banners, but it did, you know, add a little something to it. I thought I might use that little chipboard moment, but I didn't end up using that. I just used this little camera there, and that sort of helped balance out the 3 black kind of pieces to me. And I used my Uniball pen to just add some dash lines around that one chalkboard flag, just to kind of bring it out just a little bit. And I got some hot glue behind that I'm just trying to get out there. And that is pretty much it. You can see the close-ups here in a minute, and there's the sketch again, the end product, and you can see where I added the other couple little things. Thank you so much for watching, and I'd love any feedback or comments you might have. Make sure you get to Scrap Our Stash blogspot and check out their challenge and look at all of the other wonderful DT projects, and make sure to submit your entry to the challenge. And we will see you next time. Thanks. Bye.